Santa Rosa fire, how a sudden firestorm devastated a city. Santa Rosa, the inferno swept up over a wooded ridge, like many California wildfires do, but this one was different. Like a terror in the night, this wall of wind-whipped flames took direct aim for the heart of a city, not just the rural outskirts, not just the homes high in the hills or off the grid. The Tubbs Fire, one of 14 wildfires that scarred the people and property of 8 Northern California counties late Sunday and early Monday, incinerated dozens of city blocks in Santa Rosa, destroying so many of the trappings of suburban life, from the Hilton-Sonoma wine country and Fountain Rovin to a technology park, from Applebee's and Arby's to Kmart and Kohl's. The fire skipped across Highway 101, obliterating the heart of neighborhoods too. These fires happen in the hills, in the rural area, not a neighborhood, said David K., 54, clearly stunned as he returned to his home in the Coffee Park neighborhood Monday morning and found nothing but rubble for blocks and blocks. You think you're safe in a neighborhood? In one of the most surreal scenes, broadcast on KGO-TV, a team of Kaiser Permanente nurses and doctors, faces covered by respirators, gently raised critical patients in hospital beds down the street, with bright orange flames in the background. About 130 patients were safely evacuated in 3 hours, including women in labor and a very sick child. Some hospital employees drove patients in their own cars. When the evacuation started at 3 a.m., the patients were stunned. They didn't have time to process a thing, said Judy Gooden, the hospital's safety operations leader. If patients could get out of bed on their own, they did, she said. If not, we grabbed people from their beds and put them in wheelchairs. The fire came perilously close to Kaiser Santa Rosa Medical Center and its huge liquid oxygen and diesel tanks. Firefighters weren't sure they could stave off the blaze that was engulfing the adjacent mobile home park called Journey's End, she said. We realized early on that this fire, it was going to come into Santa Rosa, Santa Rosa Fire Chief Tony Gossner said Monday night, describing how the department called in every firefighter, every resource as the Tubbs fire roared into town. His crews initially set up in the Kmart parking lot, but it didn't take long before we realized this was not a good spot. The big box store was one of dozens that burned down. Local law enforcement and fire officials on Monday urged people to stay away from the evacuation areas and off the roads. But with so many emergency crews fighting fires, there were few to keep people from walking past the roadblocks. As residents returned Monday afternoon for a glimpse of what was left, the scenes around the city were apocalyptic, old people on canes and walkers shuffling along sidewalks through the orange glow, families dragging luggage and wearing blue surgical masks through the thick smoke. We're just trying to see if it's still there, said Michelle Mills, 70, pushing her walker along Coffee Lane, heading to her home a few blocks away. In a daze, residents tried somehow to digest the growing toll. The Hidden Valley Satellite Elementary School, burned down. Willie's Wine Bar and Cricklewood Restaurant on Old Redwood Highway, destroyed. Classrooms and offices at Cardinal Newman High School, burned to the ground. So was Fountain Rove's historic round barn, built in 1899.